time, there's a good time to release. Why? Again, no reaction. That's a perfect. Another episode, we've got a new star of the show. We've got a little bit of a special case and something which I've never experienced before. So the owner of this horse called me and said, we've got a little bit of an issue. The horse behind me is a mare, I think about, she's over 10 years old, and she developed some kind of an infection in her right eye. And then over a little bit of time, even though with all the treatment and all that, she started losing the ability to see. So we're actually working with a half-blind horse today. I've just been in the stable with her. Very, very nice personality, very gentle horse. So she can see out of this eye, but out of this eye she's a little bit blind. I don't know how blind she is. But the owner has been telling me that she's become incredibly spooky after that happened. She was a little bit of a spooky horse before, but after this whole thing happened, she's become almost to the point of unmanageable on one side, and not being able to use her in the school or anything like that. They want to see if I can do a bit of help. So my job here today is not going to be to work with her for the next month or so and get her to be a perfect horse, but it's something to do about, I want you to imagine a post, stuck in the ground with a bit of concrete or some compacted sand around it. My job here today is kind of just to loosen that pole as much as I can so that the owners can continue working with her, and then over a bit of time that pole would be easily come out. So I don't really know what we're going to do, as usual. It's going to be just kind of working with the horse. We don't have a round pen here. And then just treating her like a normal horse and seeing how we go. Any sort of hole that we expose, anything that I feel, okay, there's something that we need to work on, I'm going to talk you through it as usual. And then we'll see how we go at the end of this. Anyway. So as I'm leading her, I'm just noticing what kind of a personality she's got. And obviously you can see head and neck are really low, walking very smooth, very slow. Very different to the normal horses that I get to work with. Because all the other ones are a little bit nutty to start with anyway. I mean, if you just watch how she's following. Incredibly docile, very, very calm, just gorgeous. Really nice personality, This is the kind of stuff, this is the kind of horse that I want after I've finished working with one. So, it tells me that she's a trusting horse, but I'm just trying to keep in my mind, what would actually cause this horse to go from this state here to something that is, unmanageable or a little bit dangerous for people to ride. Why would she spook? Now, let's think of it this way. Put it in human terms. Initially, I'm thinking, what situation can I put myself in to make myself feel a little bit spooky? So imagine I'm just standing with 4 friends. Each friend, 2 in front of me and 2 behind me. And I've got my eyes closed. Okay, there's no sound, there's no nothing. And it's, I'm completely blind. And the game is that they are going to be poking me randomly for the next 10 minutes. I can pretty much guarantee you that after the first poke or two, when it's completely unexpected, so I'm sitting there thinking, okay, I'm pretty sure the guy on my left is going to poke me in my ribs. And then it comes as a poke to my back right. That's going to make me jump. And then I'm expecting the back right, and it goes the bottom left. That's going to make me jump. So I've got to understand what's happening in her mind. You can see she's never met me, she's never smelt me before, and she's already incredibly calm. So I can't really put her in the category of spooky horse. It's got to be the fact that she can't really see that well from the right side, and it's almost like, oh, out of the blue, something just touched me, something just moved. So now that she's standing still, leading, okay, we don't see any issues here. I'm just going to check what she's like if I ask her to back up. Okay. And there's nothing special about what I'm doing here. I'm just doing a few tests. Now I'm on her blind side. Now she's not following as well. It's only when I actually make contact with that rope that she feels it. And now she's actually following. She has to follow a feel. And she's doing that very nicely. Just checking what she's like on the other side. See, here I don't have to pull. See, she sees and she follows. On this side, I have to make some kind of contact for her to realize. So definitely she cannot see from this side. Now if I just stand here for a second, does she try to get me on her left side, or is she quite comfortably with me standing on this side? These are all little checks that I'm doing. So right now I'm just gonna, even speaking so she can hear me, I'm gonna go ahead and touch. Good. Gonna touch. That's good. Gonna touch. Gonna touch. So even then, she is still pretty calm, you know? So chewing and licking, she's trusting me that I'm on this side. I'm not gonna harm her. I'm not gonna hurt her. You know, in my mind, I wish every problem horse was like this. Right. Now, before I start to move her, because I think things will change a little bit once she starts to move, I'm just going to see what happens if we try to touch her with flags. And now I'm about to turn to the owner and say, what the hell? There's nothing wrong with her, you know? But normally most horses would jump out of their skin when I try to touch them with a flag for the first time. So it tells me that they look after her quite well here. She's been desensitized. She's not too spooky about things. What happens if I start to move this? Okay, maybe a little bit of fear. And now this fear is coming out. Okay, so it's kind of good to see the contrast between a horse that is completely docile, and then when something starts to move, she kind of transforms and changes into a different creature, right? So you've all seen that, you know, when we lunge horses, we're not lunging horses to kind of get them tired. Really, right now, what I want her to do is to understand that I've got some ability to control her feet, that, you know, she can eventually just relax and say, okay, I'm just going to wait for this guy to tell me what to do and everything will be okay. Instead of I'm alone with this predator in this arena and he's got something scary and I need to protect myself, right? So I'm going to make this as easy as possible. Okay? So again, even if she's a little bit tense, My job is not to work her really hard, it's to get her to the point where I want her to relax. So she changes directions, she stops by herself. I'm just going to ask her to go. So each time she does what I want, there's no pressure from my side. When she changes it, that's when she feels a little bit of pressure. It's kind of I ask her to go in the form of a question, and then when she's given me the right answer, I leave her alone. Now she's kind of leaning in with that hind quarter, I can see. And there are people over there, so she might be shying away from the people and then more relaxed on this side over here. So let's see what happens if we just stop her there, let her find that relaxed state again. And it's important that I'm kind of relaxed. I'm in no hurry to do anything or go anywhere. Watching the horse, she's blinking, she's chewing and licking, and I'm waiting for the ears to flick left and right. So there you go, one's forwards, one back. It means that she's kind of changed state in her mind. So this is the side that she doesn't see now. So she's going to have to follow a feel. There. Excellent. So she's kind of going blind now here. She's good. We are starting slow. Because this is going to get more and more challenging. So here, when I raise this, you see she can't see it. She doesn't react. She's not as reactive as she is on the other side. She listens to my voice. So she's going to have to be responsive to that clucking instead of this flag, because she can't see this flag. She'll be able to hear it like that. So that's kind of what she's going to be like when you're riding her and something spooks her from this side. That's what she's going to do. Okay, let's stop her. And I'm going to let her relax just for a couple of seconds. And now we're going to make it much more challenging so that we can kind of get into a rhythm. Okay, so she's going to be going off to one side. I'm going to be flagging that with the rhythm, a little bit of rhythm on both sides. So she's going to go a couple of circles to the left, stop, a couple of circles to the right. She's going to have to get used to this thing going up and down. All right, so she can be as spooky as she wants. I'm just going to keep going until she does one circle. Wrong way. Wrong way. She's got a little bit of defensiveness there. She's thinking of coming forwards, and I don't blame her. Let's change sides here. So I've got to keep going with this just a little bit. Now get her to change directions. It's the wrong way. Keep the pressure on. Now she's thinking of charging. She's thinking, should I charge? Should I go? I've got to get her to think left. Think left, don't think forwards. She's thinking forwards. There. Try again. Good girl. There you go. For a second there, she was thinking, I do not feel comfortable going left. i.e., I feel like I'm in danger. So she planted her feet, kept her face towards me, and she was thinking of coming forwards. Now, if you end up pushing the horse the wrong way, they can easily come forwards and just lunge at you. And that's happened a few times to me in my life. It is not fun. Sometimes bumping them back a couple of feet and then trying again works. So now that she's figured out going to the left is not a big deal, we can continue. Good. So on this side, I'm just going to keep this flag going. Yield. Yield. Send her to the left. Good girl. There we go. Much easier this time. Much easier. I'm not going to flag her on this side yet. Why? Because I want her to be comfortable knowing that when she goes off to the left, there's a release of pressure. Yield. Good girl. Send her off to the right. Just kind of ignoring her reaction here. Rhythmically going with this spookiness, this spooky object. So bump her a little bit. Bump a little bit. And when she relaxes and calms down, that's when we're going to yield. Like here. Gonna ask for that yield. Good girl. So chewing and licking, change of state. Good girl. Well done. Now I'm going to start flagging a little bit. Just gently. So this is pretty extreme. I need to let her figure out that running is not going to get away from this, and that she's not going to get punished for it either. There we go. There we go. That's a bit of a change. I'm going to stop and let her relax. So a little bit unfit. That's fine. So a really big difference between when we first started and what she's looking like right now, you know. Initially I thought, well, there's nothing wrong with this horse. She's absolutely perfect. But when she started to move, yeah, obviously things started to show. She's breathing pretty heavy as well, so. Good. Now I'm going to yield. Good girl. Now I'm going to yield. H. Now, obviously, I shouldn't really be backing away from a horse. But in her case, she can't see. She's just walking towards comfort. There we go. And I'm always giving her that feel with the halter first, then the sound, then my flag. Right. As always, there's always got to be some element of adaptability here, right? So if I continue to work her with this lunging, I think she's going to get pretty tired pretty quickly. And the sand is a little bit deep, so I don't really want to work her so hard. Now let's go back and try to touch her with this flag, see if she's now has a little bit more respect for it. No, she's good. So what she has a problem with is the sound. Let her run, let her escape. She wants to stand still and face it. Release. Stand still and face it. Release. Good. So we start again. Well done. Good. Chewing and licking. Didn't run away this time. I release. Again. But she's not a very easy case because that reaction goes from one extreme to the other. She's super calm and then incredibly spooky. But let's see how far we get today. Good. Very nice. Excellent. Going to try the other side with some noise. Perfect. This is what we want right here. Good job. There we go. So I'm noticing that when she's standing still, okay, we've managed to get through to her that, I'm not going to hurt her. All of this flapping around is not going to cause her any harm. But, the extreme reaction comes when she's moving her feet, So let's see if I can ask her to walk. Hey. There, just walk. Good girl. Again. Good girl. Good girl. Now that her feet are moving, good. She's chewing and she's licking there. I release. Because you want to imagine that when a horse is standing still, they're not really thinking about running. There's no danger. But psychologically, as soon as their feet start to move, they're moving somewhere towards something or away from something. And in this case, she's not moving towards anything. There's no food. She's always moving away from the pressure that I apply. So if she's able to take this pressure as she's moving away like this, that's a really good sign. It means we're making a little bit of progress here. Good girl. Got a little buddy here. That's okay. This is what we're looking for right here. Perfect. Going up and down, painting her belly. She's thinking of running, but I love that word, thinking of. She's thinking of running. That means she's not reacting. Well done. Good girl. Okay, this side. There we go. That's good. So she can hear it. She knows it's there. I'm just waiting for a chew and a lick. There we go. Excellent. Let's see what happens if we ask her to come towards things. Good girl. Well done. Good girl. She's got to have a little bit of respect of my personal space, but I don't want to work on everything at the same time. Good. So now we can mess around with her a little bit more. Good. So that's the wrong response. Wrong response. Oh, there. That's almost about to attack. In a corner, I pressured her a little bit too much. Her ears went back, her head went up, she was ready. Don't pressure a horse and don't corner a horse. Allow them a way to escape. So now she's ignoring me. I'm giving her the option to escape. There. Good. Now we're going to go back to what we were doing before. Again, she got me. Good girl. Here's where you're going to feel that relaxation. There. No need to protect yourself. So the difficulty with this is to try and keep yourself to the side of the horse because they're pretty quick at spinning. Go that way. Good. Good. So all we're really trying to do here is get her to understand that I'm not going to hurt her, even if she thinks I am. I'm not here to cause any pain. Brilliant. Good girl. Other side. That's much better. Much better. Good girl. So she definitely can't see from this side. If I'm doing that, there's no response. Okie doke. Time to get a little bit more personal with her. So here's a big plastic bag. It's just this feed bag that, you know, makes a lot of scrunchy noises. I'm going to see how she is at handling this. Stay to her side as much as I can. That's great. She feels like she needs to move a little bit, but she's not overreacting. Tell you what, for a horse that hasn't had this done before, this is pretty good. Let her sniff it if she likes. Good girl. Seriously, with a little bit of work, I think she could become a pretty bomb-proof horse. It's just getting over that overreaction. Because once she's over it, she's in a great place. Very nice. Well done. See, and my assumption was going to be that the side that she can't see from is the side that she's going to be really spooky, especially to sound. But you learn something new every day. It's actually the side that she can see from is the side that she's more spooky from. So, no need to do much more with this. These are all the checks that we do. Okay, now we've got a little bit of a stock whip, and all I'm going to be doing is throwing my arm over her and letting that whip go over her back. So it's not going to hurt her in any way. It's just going and touching her all over her body, around her bum, around her back legs. You guys have seen me do this a million times. Probably with a stick and string, but this time it's just with a bullwhip. And the reason why I selected to bring a bullwhip is because I thought blind or difficulty in seeing, probably the sense of hearing is elevated, you know. So maybe the sounds are what make her a little bit nervous. So here we go. We're going to start making a little bit of sound with this. So she's protecting her left side. She's not allowing me to get onto that side. There, oh, I was just about to release. So I'm not going to pressure her into giving me that left side. I'm just going to be a little bit consistent here. There, she lets me, I'm going to release. And then throw it over and say, hey, this snake is not here to hurt you. You can trust me. So she's protecting again. And if you are going to try this at home, that's fine, but just make sure that there are no riders working with their horses, yeah? because once this cracks, it does make a pretty loud sound. Okay, we're going to start it off nice and gentle. Okay. You're okay. So she's going to have to let me get onto her left side first, yeah? Good girl. Not into my space. These are all the barriers we need to sort of break through. Now, what am I looking for here? She needs to stand still, not protect her left side, allow me to get to this side, like that. Well done. Again. Now I'm going to keep it at a pretty low intensity to start with until we make some progress and she figures out that she doesn't need to be worried about me cracking this whip. From the corner of my eye, just keeping an eye on her. Good girl. There we go. This is what we're looking for. Release. She even looks towards it. That's very good. And that's what we're looking for. The coolest thing about working with horses is they have absolutely no ability to conceal their feelings, right? If I put a human in here and I told them, you know, just stand still, let me crack this whip right next to you, I guarantee you 99 out of 100 people would be flinching, okay, and trying to hide the fact that they're worried that I may, by accident, hit them. A horse, once they've actually stood still and just relaxed in the presence of a crack whip like this, it means that 100% they are confident you're not going to hurt them. And that's why these kind of exercises are super important. Okay, I released there at the wrong time. There's a good time to release. Why? Again, no reaction. That's a perfect one. Good job. So if you can imagine, you know, at the beginning of this session, a little flag just went up and she jumped out of her skin. You know, we managed to open that door of, hey, why don't you try trusting me just a little bit, okay? And then, you know, about 20 minutes later, we're cracking this whip as hard as we can right next to her, and she's pretty calm. Doesn't mean that she's fixed. It means that that post that was stuck in the ground has loosened a little bit, you know? So now we're going to do the other side. I don't expect that we're going to have too many issues on this side because, you know, that's what she's been showing us this whole time, is that the right side is kind of fine. Left side is a little bit more spooky. That's great. So we're doing pretty good. Now, we go back and just test how she is with me asking her to go. So much better response here. Much better response. And really, I mean, if you're going to be working with her every day, just a little bit of this, you know, showing her that no matter what happens, as long as I'm not asking you to go, if I'm not making clucking noises and kind of like that, it, you know, any additional pressure like this, like somebody clapping their hands in the distance, like a plastic bag flapping around, that you can ignore that and just follow my suggestions, which is just go to the left. I'm going to ask her to speed up a little bit. I just want to see how she speeds up. And to all you horse lovers there, you can see head stayed level. She had a nice transition into a trot. Shows you that she's in a relaxed state of mind, right? Again, check on this side. Don't know about you guys, but I can definitely tell that, you know, she's no longer cowering away. She's not dipping in with her hindquarters and running off to the side. Again, I reiterate, is she fixed? No. But the foundation has loosened of that fear that she had initially. Good girl. Good girl. How is she around her head? We haven't done anything around the face or the head. This is beautiful. Excellent. Chewing and licking. So for her, that's where she's totally relaxed, when her head and neck are pretty much even with her shoulders. When she gets a little bit nervous, that head tends to go up just a little bit. Okay? A little sign that she's a bit tense here. But now she's fallen asleep with those eyes. Well done. Now I'm going to ask her to walk towards this scary object. Good. Walk towards it. Lunge. Now this is this is why I love this job. The satisfaction that you get. I mean, I feel like right now we are absolutely communicating, right? I mean, saying, why don't you follow my feel? Now I'm saying, why don't you lunge this way a little bit? And she just goes. Super relaxed. Not worried. Why don't you just stand? And now this stuff means nothing around you. Now this means go. Good. So not all pressure is something that she needs to jump at or respond to. It's specific type of pressure. It's why you've got to, when you're riding, this is similar to riding. When you're riding, it's very important that you initially, when you start working with a horse, that you're not just constantly kicking randomly. You know, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay, maybe I hit this side, maybe I hit that side. All that is noise. After a while, your legs are exactly what this flag is, okay? It's something to ignore. Then what you have to do is put spurs on. Then what you need to do is have a whip. Then what you need, and it's constantly exaggerating the amount of pressure you need to get the horse to respond. However, if you're always got your legs off your horse or just gently placed on the belly of the horse, and then you consciously give them a little squeeze, then when they go, you release. They understand from what? The release of pressure. So every time you just gently squeeze, they go, you release. And if they don't, you kind of increase that with a cluck. If they don't, you increase that with a tap. But it's always, you know, you're always, what's the word? Building up the level of pressure in a logical and consistent way. Yeah? So that means if I was on this horse and I wasn't touching with my legs, I wasn't squeezing her forwards, and I was doing this, she should just stand still. If I had people standing here with flags and stuff like that on the side, with whips, with guns, and I'm sitting on my horse not touching with my legs, she should just stand still as everybody's going for that. But if I touch her with my legs, no matter what's happening around, she'll think, okay, I'm listening to this guy. He's my leader. As soon as he says go, I'm just going to go. I don't need to think of anything. Yeah? One more time. Now she's now she won't go. Now it's a different problem. Good girl. I'd much rather she's a bit more like this than the other way. Now we're going to be running up to the horse and just stroking. And each time I'm just going to get a little bit, every time she's protecting that side, I want her to be going sideways. And notice how short this lead rope is. Obviously, I'm joking. I mean, the whole point of this is that she's allowed to run if she needs to run. She's allowed to spook and jump out of the way if she wants to. You know, act like a little bit of a crazy person. You know, just keep exposing her to different situations, different scenarios, so that every time she experiences something with you, it's never ever going to hurt. No need to protect. Wrong way. There you go. Now I'm going to run and rub. Okay, so I found a little bit of a weak spot there where it's running straight at her. It's that left side again. I'm going to run to her left now. Whenever you find that weakness, work on the weakness. Don't work on the strengths. Because if you don't have a nice solid foundation, you're gonna, the building's gonna fall at some point. That's great. Good girl. Just touching her all over the place, making sure. Good girl. Whew! Right, so there's going to be a couple of things that, I mean, the owner's been watching. They can see kind of the stuff that we've been doing over here. And it really is, it's not a lost cause whatsoever. I think she's actually a really, really nice horse that, you know, has just gone through a little bit of a patch where she's lost her eyesight. She's become more and more protective of herself. So she's thinking, well, I can see something from my left eye. As soon as they go onto my right eye, they disappear, and then they just show up by touching me. So, you know, I don't really know what they're doing on that right side. So as soon as I see something coming from the left, I'm going to be a little bit protective. And she was in self-defense mode at the very beginning. But like I said, her personality, as soon as we brought her out, the way she led, the way she stood, the way she let me put the halter on, was just, you know, it tells me that she's a really, really beautiful horse. Really nice, beautiful personality. And for me, I definitely think she's a kid's horse. I know you might disagree, but give her a couple of days, maybe a week or so, and she's gonna be bomb-proof, pretty much. So, anyway,